What if God is not a man in the sky, but the very fabric of reality itself? What if you've never been apart from God, even for a single moment? You were just taught to look in the wrong direction. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Now come with me. Let's go on a journey, not through space, but through awareness. A journey beyond religion, into the mystery we call God. Brain, Part 1. The idea of God. A human construction? For thousands of years, humans have asked one big question: what is God? And every culture, every age, gave its own answer. Some saw gods in the thunder. Some worshipped the sun. Others believed in one invisible force above all. We told stories. We drew symbols. We built temples. And in those stories, God often looked like us: strong, powerful, angry, loving. But maybe we weren't describing God. Maybe we were describing our own hopes, our own fears. We needed to make sense of the unknown, so we gave it a name, a face, a voice. We humanized the infinite. We turned the mystery into a person. But what if that mystery was never a person at all? What if God is not a being, but being itself? Not something in the universe, but the reason there is a universe. Not a ruler above us, but the stillness beneath us. Maybe we didn't create God in our image. Maybe we've simply forgotten to look beyond the image. Part 2. God as consciousness. Sit with me for a moment. No distractions, just you. Notice your breath. Notice your thoughts. Now ask, who is noticing them? Who is the one watching in silence? Some traditions say that this silent witness is God, not outside of you, but the deepest part within you. God not as a being you pray to, but as the awareness doing the praying. Still, infinite, present. Have you ever felt deep peace for no reason? Or a sudden wave of love, even when you're alone? Have you ever looked at the stars and felt like you were home? Maybe that's not just emotion. Maybe it's a quiet reminder that the source of all things lives inside you, that God is not watching you, God is being you, and that the silence you run from is the doorway you've always been looking for. Part 3. Beyond religion, the universal. God religion has given us many paths, each one a finger pointing toward the same sky. Christianity speaks of a father. Islam calls to Allah. Hinduism describes Brahman. Buddhism speaks of emptiness filled with compassion. And beyond names, beyond rituals, mystics have always whispered the same truth. There is only one, and it is beyond words. They used poetry, song, silence, because the truth is too vast for language. But over time, we started arguing. We forgot the sky and fought over the finger. We claimed God, branded it, sold it, feared it. But how can you divide what is indivisible? How can you own what is everywhere? Maybe it's time to remember, no religion has the monopoly on truth. All traditions are chapters of the same ancient book, the story of how humans touched the infinite. So whether you call it God, Allah, Brahman, Source, or simply love, you are still pointing to the same light, and that light is always shining, even in the darkest places. Part 4. Is God real or just a projection? People ask, is God real? But maybe the better question is, what do you mean by real? Is love real? You can't touch it. You can't weigh it. Yet you die for it. Is beauty real? It can't be measured, but it moves your soul. Maybe God is like that. Not a fact to prove, but a presence to feel. Have you ever watched a child sleep and felt something sacred in the room? Have you ever stood at the edge of the ocean and lost your sense of self? Those are not illusions. They are invitations, moments that break the ordinary, moments where something greater reaches through, not to scare you, not to control you, but to remind you, you are more than flesh. You are more than thought. You are part of something eternal. So is God real? Only you can answer, not with your mind, but with your life. Part 5, God and Science, Opposites or Allies? Science and God. To some, these are opposites. Facts versus faith, logic versus mystery. But what if they are not enemies? What if they are partners, exploring the same truth from different angles? Science asks, how does it work? God asks, why is it here at all? Science shows us galaxies, DNA, quantum fields, black holes, and the deeper science looks, the more mysterious reality becomes. A particle that exists only when you observe it? A universe finely tuned for life. Equations that describe beauty? Even Einstein said, the most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible. Could it be that intelligence is baked into the fabric of everything? Maybe God is not a magician outside creation, but the intelligence humming within it. Not a miracle worker who breaks the rules, but the very author of the rules themselves. What if every law of physics is a divine language spelling out the poetry of existence? Science reveals the painting, but maybe God is the painter, and in the end, both are helping us touch the same awe. Part 6, God and Suffering. Where is the divine in pain? One of the oldest arguments against God is suffering. If God is love, why do we hurt? If God is all-powerful, why doesn't He stop the pain? But maybe the question isn't, where is God during suffering? Maybe the question is, where are we? When the heart breaks? When the body weakens? When all the masks fall away? We find something we never expected. A strange kind of grace. In the silence of a hospital room, in the stillness after loss, something whispers, I am still here. Not to explain the pain, but to be with you in it. Maybe God doesn't always rescue us from suffering, but walks with us through it. Maybe pain strips away the illusion of control so that what remains is presence. And in that raw, open space, we don't find answers. We find depth. We find each other. We find compassion. We find a God who is not watching from afar, but who bleeds with us. A God who suffers, not to punish, but to heal. Part 7. The God within, living the divine daily. So what now? If God is not just a belief, not just a book, not just a place we visit on Sundays, then maybe God is something we live. Every act of kindness, every honest moment, every breath taken with awareness is a prayer. Maybe God is not found in perfection, but in presence. Not in being right, but in being real. What if every smile you give is a sermon? What if every time you listen without judgment, you become the hands of the divine? You don't need to wear robes or recite chants. You just need to remember you are a vessel. You are a spark. You are the image of that which cannot be named. And when you walk gently, love deeply, and live humbly, you don't have to find God. You are already walking with God. Everywhere, always, otro. So, what is God? Not a name, not a doctrine, not a figure in the clouds. Maybe God is what remains when everything else fades. The silence between thoughts, the love without condition, the light behind your eyes. Maybe God is not something to believe in, but something to awaken to. Something you feel when you stop pretending, when you stop chasing, when you simply sit and listen. Then, in that sacred stillness, when all questions dissolve, you may hear the only answer that ever mattered. You were never separate. You never had to search, because I was always right here in you, as you, with you, forever.